Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of NC-17. My name is Josh, and today we have with us a very talented actress. We have Miss Caitlin Skinner. How are you doing today?
I am doing so great. Thanks so much, Josh, for having me on.
It's my honor, trust me. Uh, so before we get started into the movies and stuff like that, kind of take us back as a child, and was it something you wanted to do to be in movies and film and stuff like that, or did it kind of just come out of nowhere?
Well, as a kid, I was involved in dance, and so I enjoyed like performing on the stage. And I loved making up music videos with my friends and things like that. But I really wanted to be a teacher or an artist. And I ended up going to school to become a teacher. And so I taught first grade through third grade for 15 years and basically was on stage that whole time because I was, entertaining the kids, trying to get them to learn and enjoy themselves. So it was something that's been more recent, that's been on my heart. I started in church and children's ministry. I was asked if I would help lead Sunday mornings, and we did a lot of skits and a lot of performances for Vacation Bible School to just, again, like teach the kids and have them enjoy what they were learning about. And one summer, it was the very first day of summer vacation, and I was up early at the church to prepare for Vacation Bible School to be on stage. And I just thought to myself, wow, my first day of vacation, I'm up early. I've got to, look more into this acting thing. And so I started taking classes and auditioned for a play at my local community theater and got a part and then got bitten by the theater bug and did a few more plays. Um, and then kind of started doing some more acting for on camera work, and things just kind of took off from there, and I've been enjoying the ride.
Oh yeah. Uh, so that's kind of a like a swervy road to what went from teaching to theater to film. Would you say that along the road, as you picked up more knowledge of like just the entertainment world, whether it be the theater or film, would you say that it kind of toned you into the person that you are and while you're filming and stuff like that?
I would say that I've always been a people person, so I really enjoy and get energy from other people. And so being in the theater and being able to rehearse and be around everybody just kind of fueled that fire to keep going. Once I started doing on camera and film work and learning more about that, I became really busy doing a lot of independent work. So it didn't leave very much time to do theater because you spend so much time in rehearsals and everything for months on end when you are doing a play. And so I just really kind of focused on the film side. And the more sets that I was on, the more people I worked with, the more I learned, the more I became interested in doing things both in front of camera and behind the camera.
Uh, uh, Kind of take us to the first day that you were on your first film set. Kind of like what was your feeling and what was it like?
Yeah, so one of the very first ones, I actually got a message like 10 o'clock at night on Backstage, which is an app, that you can be on as an actor. And it was looking for something to film that weekend. They had like a last minute, I thought it was just an extra role. They needed a police officer, and it was in Indianapolis, really close to where I live. And I looked at my husband and I was like, this like legit? Do you think is this a scam? What's going on here? It was kind of, because it was late, he reached out to me personally through that app. So I kind of like did some research to find out like, is this guy a real, a real filmmaker? I'm not, walking into anything shady. And turns out he's done several films. And so I responded and said, absolutely. And I was very nervous and super excited. I really actually wanted to do roles where I was like a detective or a police officer. So that was super exciting that the first thing I was doing was kind of in that role. And I got on set thinking that I was just going to be like a background extra and I had lines. And so I quickly learned, just a handful of lines. And that film is actually streaming on Prime. It's called The Distance Between Us. And I just had a very small role, but I got to interact with the main character there. And I had to drive a car. And I don't like driving other people's cars. And so already with nerves, even just the act of backing up and going forward to come in, it was nerve-wracking. But everyone was really wonderful and gave me a lot of praise and, asked if I had done that role before. And I was like, no. Um, so just, did my best. And that got me a lot of connections with some other filmmakers in the Nigerian community. And so I was able to start working with a lot of other Nigerian filmmakers in little small roles too, which just built my confidence and allowed me to get some more experience working with a whole lot of really cool people.
Oh yeah. So the first movie I've seen you in was The First Harvest.
Yeah,
Uh, Excellent movie.
thank you.
And I so when you were on that set, again playing a detective, what
Yes.
was your so you've had a couple of things under your belt now. What was your going in? What was your anticipation for that film?
I didn't know what to expect because I hadn't worked with Paul before and or any of the other actors on set. And so I just always go in reminding myself of who I am, that I am, outgoing and positive and friendly, and just bringing those assets to the set to make sure that I was bringing the best me and staying positive and seeing how I could help in any sort of way. And it was a super, super comfortable. Everybody that I worked with that day was professional and friendly and kind, and so filming went really, really well. One of the scenes that we did on that first filming day was super windy and cold, so we ended up having to do ADR, and that's when I learned what ADR was. I had never heard that term before. And of course, that's, re-recording audio because you didn't quite capture it because the wind just wouldn't let us capture that. But everyone was super professional. I learned how to be choked safely. So that was interesting, but that's a good skill to kind of pick up on, to learn how to be convincing that you're dying or maybe dying.
Yeah. Uh, so the question I've never asked anybody this question. So like in filming certain scenes, and being kind of, like a detective, a female detective, it enables you to have that extra kind of power, I would say. Was it empowering to know that, yeah, you're safe, but you're playing a strong character anyway?
Yes, yes, that is super empowering, which is why being a detective was one of the first roles I really was interested in pursuing, because it is definitely that woman badass character where you have this confidence, but you also have many layers to your character. So you can have emotion where you're relating to other characters in your scene, but you also have this, like you said, this power about you where you're going to take it on and nobody's going to stand in your way. So I really liked the diversity of in the layers of the character that you can bring with that role.
Oh yeah. So out of all the films you've done so far, I'm sure you take away like different aspects from every single set you've been on because it helps you grow as an actress.
Right.
Would you say that there was one specific moment on any film you've done to where it was like, okay, it clicked, this is the route I'm going, and I'm gonna stay the way?
As far as like particular roles that I want to play,
Yeah.
um, I would say I've been really lucky to play a variety of roles. I've done a lot of mom roles, and then I've had with Heidi Mickak films, I've had a lot of chances to kind of play an evil kind of character, who has a little mystery. And then the one that we're working on right now, our mini series, Wherein Lies Continue, I am a mom. We and I actually get killed in the first episode. And so I come back as a ghost and I'm like helping to guide my daughter. But you also get a chance to really meet her character. She was a young mom when she had these kids. And so again, it's just like all that depth, all those layers. That has been awesome. So it's easy for me to play a mom role because I have three kids of my own. So I'm used to having all of those layers of being able to, like lay the hammer down when I need to, but also being really comforting and nurturing as well. Again, teaching and guiding. And so those are really super fun roles. And then recently we just filmed with Acro Stars, S.J. Herman's Perfect Soul. We just did the proof of concept there, and I get to be a witch. And it was the first time that I had SFX makeup on where I look like I'm burned. So again, like I got to step into this powerful woman leader role, but in a completely different way. And being able to work with scene partners like Chloe, being able to connect with her because we worked on some things before. And the set being so warm and inviting just really allows you to relax and get into that character so you can be the best in that moment, and not hold back because I mean honestly it's kind of nerve-wracking still. You've got other people in the room watching what you're doing. You got a camera sometimes is like right in your face and you have to pretend it's not there. And so just being able to push aside all of that and just go for it full force. It's been a really amazing ride to just experience that from each set I've been on.
So going from like director to director, different movies and everything like that, I'm the question that, is a lot of people, I don't know, maybe get asked, but is each director has their own vision. But you, as an actress, do you envision your character, even though they tell you this is how we want it, do you envision it the same way, or do you try to do it your own way?
Yeah, that's a great question. So far, most of the directors I've worked with have given me a general idea of how they want the character, but they've also given me the creative liberty to bring my own vision into that character. And then if I deliver it in one way that I thought and they had it differently, then we'll just redo that part of the scene and give me notes and I'll take those notes and then kind of tweak it more into the vision that they had. But so far, generally speaking, especially because we work so well together and we kind of rehearse and go over things before we're actually shooting, I feel like a lot of times our visions align.
All right. So since you have a teaching background, you kind of touched on it a couple minutes ago. Do you feel that like when you're dealing with younger actors and actresses, that it's kind of like your intuition to kind of just take them under your wing and say, "Hey, let me help you if you need this help"?
Yeah, I absolutely love doing that. I remember in one of my acting classes, they kind of, especially probably on bigger projects, if you're working with a big company, kind of teach you not to really do that because you want to make sure the director is the one that is doing that teaching. But there have been like a couple little commercials and things that I've done where one of the actresses was really, really nervous and we kind of went over things together and I kind of took her over under my wing and she was like, "Are you an acting coach?" And I was like, "Well, no, I mean, I'm just sharing my knowledge." But I do think most definitely like the mom part of me and the teacher part of me just sees areas where people can improve, or maybe I see that they're a little bit nervous and I can pair with them and help them feel more comfortable on set.
Oh yeah. So as an actress, who inspires you to want to like portray these certain characters these certain ways? Is there anybody you really look up to in the entertainment business?
So I don't know if I am in the minority here, but I mean, I love watching shows and movies and things. But even growing up, I was never really super starstruck by any particular person. I will say the detective role in Criminal Minds, JJ, she is one of the detectives that I was like watching videos of her in outtakes of scenes before I started doing detective work, as well as I believe it's Chloe in the show Lucifer. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. I love her energy too. So those are two of the characters that I kind of looked to when I was looking at character development for sure. But as far as like any one particular actress, I don't necessarily follow. I just now when I watch movies or TV shows, I watch it with a completely different lens. It's sometimes it almost ruins it because you're just thinking in that actor or director or writer mode and seeing like, oh, that was really awesome, or oh, I would have done that differently, or wow, I love how they delivered that line, but not any one particular person.
All right. In your detective roles, and you know, I mean, I kind of detected a little bit of like the character from Law and Order SVU,
Hmm.
because you when you play a detective, you personally you kind of play it, like you're going to be this badass, but you also have this soft side, and that's
Right.
how that character is. So I kind of compare you a little bit to that. And as I'm watching Law and Order, and then I'm watching your movies, I'm like, it's like one and the same, just to me anyway. So,
Well, thank you. That's a huge compliment.
uh, would you say that the acting bug has really took full, like control of just your destiny where you wanted to go from here on in?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, like I said, I'm a mom. I have three kids. They are 15, 12, and 11 right now. So they are very much in their busy, active lives where we're doing gymnastics and soccer and volleyball and ice skating and Girl Scouts and all of those things. So right now I'm in this season where I'm trying to find balance, where I can pursue my acting dreams and stay engaged in that way, but also make sure that I'm spending the time that I have with my family as well. So I will say there are times where I see fellow actors and actresses that have gotten something or taken this on, and I feel a little twinge of like, oh, I want that. But then I got to put myself in check and realize like right now, this time in my life, I want to be able to focus on my family as well. So
Right.
I'm really careful in protecting that time and also giving myself time to pursue my acting dreams. And what's been amazing through all of this is that all of my kids have seen that I've shifted careers because I quit teaching and I became a developmental therapist. So I work with little kids in their homes right now so I can have flexibility of schedule so I can do more acting and I can be more present for them. So they've seen me, change roles. All three of them have started to act as well. They've all been in short films with me. My youngest two are currently in short films with me. And so it's been amazing to see their creativity come from it and have them gain confidence from watching their mom pursue something that wasn't on my original path in life.
Right. Uh, so I'm gonna take a moment here and kind of praise you as a mom. My mom had four boys, raised us pretty much by herself.
Wow.
So a strong woman is the foundation of any family. And the fact that you take the time to make sure you're still there for your family and everything like that, utmost respect to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a lot.
oh yeah. But you hear the stories though all the time. It's like, well, Hollywood broke our family.
Hmm.
And I mean, this ain't a disrespectful thing to say about Hollywood, but independent film seems more like a family than anything
Yeah,
else. So,
absolutely.
and just the fact that you do that and you're able to maintain everything, that speaks volumes of your character. And like I said, much respect to you.
Thank you. My calendar is my second Bible.
Oh yeah. Speaking of SJ, working on his film Perfect Soul, that seems like it's going to be a real, not only emotional, but kind of like it's just going to drive everything in different directions.
Oh yeah. You're gonna
Yeah.
get a lot of everything in this one.
Oh yeah. And I mean, you working with Chloe again,
Mhm.
just a bunch of different people. But there's one actress that I actually haven't spoken about and actually haven't reached out to or anything like that just yet. I'm going to, but I want to wait for the right moment. And that's the Delilah.
Yeah, D.
Yeah, she I seen her in a couple films and correct me if I'm wrong, but she hits it no matter what.
Yeah, she is fantastic. She is fantastic. She's, I believe, 11 or 12, and she just brings it. She's full of energy and she really nails the roles. She listens well, she takes direction well, and I'm really excited to actually finally be on set with her in different projects because we've been in the same movies with each other before, but never at the same time. So I'm looking forward to being able to be with her. And I was able to meet her, I guess it's her sister-in-law, almost just like regular sister though, Ashley, who is the director of photography for Perfect Soul. And she is amazing and very talented. And we've actually just brought her on to be the DP for Wherein Lies Continue with Heidi and myself. So that whole family is talented. They've got it oozing out of their veins there.
Oh yeah. Uh would you say there's like moments in like while you're reading scripts you're like does any of this draw emotional from like your actual life or is it just you're putting yourself in the character?
Um, Some roles, really, I feel like every role I'm able to connect in some way. Most of the roles that I'm in, are written from the heart and they have a lot of different, if it's horror, even if it's horror, there's still some emotional elements to it or something, traumatic that's happened and we've all lived lives and so we all have different trauma and different sadness, different fears, all of those things you can definitely pull from. Maybe it's not the same thing that happened to your character, but you've had that emotion before. So, thinking about what has happened in your life to be able to bring that emotion to the character is definitely really helpful. I wouldn't say I'm like a full method actor, because I can break character and then go back into it pretty easily, but I definitely do think about the things that have happened in my life and pull in that moment from it.
Oh yeah. uh so here's a question that I specifically was going to save for you. So if many years from now you could have a movie made based off of your life, who would you want to play you?
Oh man, who would I want to play me? That is a great question. Hmm,
It's a heavy question, I know.
it is a heavy question. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Do you have an idea? Do you have an idea of someone that you think would play me well?
I think Chloe would.
Oh, yeah. You mean of
Yeah.
people that I actually know?
Well,
Yeah,
just anybody in
yeah.
general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chloe's very talented. She amazes me, and she's only 19 years old and is like crushing everything that she does. She's got talent. So yeah, I mean, I'd be honored, in Wherein Lies Continue, she plays the younger version of my sister. So there's definitely and then in another one that hopefully is going to be made possibly next year, with Heidi, she is going to be my daughter's sister. So, some connections. She's done a short film where she was my son's mother. So yeah, I think she could pull me off for sure.
Oh yeah. In acting, a lot of people say, especially in Hollywood, a lot of people say that, when you get to a certain level, it's like you supersede everything else. The question that I would have for you is, you're always going to stay humble in who you are, because I mean, I just talking to you now, and for everybody out there, this is our first time actually talking.
Yep.
But just knowing you from this, and then seeing the way you like take acting seriously, I don't think, and since you are you'll be able to answer this better. I
Right.
don't think you'll ever let anything kind of like let you look at something different.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I definitely feel like I am someone that will stay grounded in who I am, and I'm not going to take on a role that I can't get behind if it doesn't, if it shares an idea that I don't align with. That's something that I take seriously. If it's something that I wouldn't like share with my family. Now, of course, some of the horror stuff is maybe a little bit too much for my younger ones right now. But they did go and see like the first harvest though. They wanted to see mommy on the big screen, so I let them come. Um, but yeah, I think that my family and my faith and how I raise my children is such a core of who I am that I won't let anything change that. And honestly, I'm not like I've told lots of people, like, oh, do you want to go? Like, do you want to take it to where you'd be in like a box office movie, where you're in Hollywood and big name? And I just say, like, I am just doing one thing after the other. And if an opportunity presents itself, and it works with what I have going on in my life, then I would love to grab that chance and take it on. Am I going to be disappointed if it doesn't happen? No, because the whole point of why I started this was to do something that set my soul on fire. And the moment that acting or directing or writing is no longer enjoyable, then it's not something that I'm interested in anymore. I added it to my life and changed my life because I wanted joy and I wanted to find joy. And I love learning new things. I think it allows you to grow as a person if you're involved in something that's challenging and something that you're not knowledgeable in and you have to learn. I think it keeps you going, keeps you young. And I want to make sure that I'm always being a good example for my children and supportive to my husband. He has been my biggest support system. I couldn't have done this without him. He allows for me to be gone on weekends and take care of everybody else. And and he supported the job change that changed finances, to allow me to have flexibility to take this on. And so I'm very honored to have that partnership with him as well. And so I wouldn't do anything to jeopardize that.
All right. Uh, it's good that you say that because it kind of lets people know out there that you found your permanent co-star for life.
Yeah,
You know,
I like that.
and I mean, faith and family should always play a part in everybody's trajectory wherever they're going.
Hmm.
And I think that only builds more character for who you are, and it helps you put more into the projects you go into because it's like you have that foundation at home and you have that foundation on set.
Yep.
And when the two merge, there's nothing better in life.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
But I I want to say one more thing about just you in general. There's a lot of people out there who are always going to say, "Well, I'm not cut out for this. I'm not cut out for that." You seem to have firm standing on where you are in life, and the
Hmm.
fact that you have that again builds more character.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're
Yeah, I
welcome.
think if there's something that's in the back of your mind and on your heart and you think, I mean, I used to say like, oh, I could never do that. And then there was just one day where I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that. And it literally in anything in your life is a decision. You just have to decide and then you take action. You take one step. And if you take a step in the wrong direction, awesome. You made movement. You found out that's the wrong way to go and you make a new choice. But standing still is going backward. So as long as you are moving and you're trying and everybody has bad days, but you got to really work to stay positive and flip that script in your mind to keep on going. And so I think, if you've ever thought to yourself that could never be me, you need to think again because it could be.
Oh yeah. Uh, so in writing, directing, and acting, do you find that one is might be a little bit more harder than the other, and one might be a little bit more safer?
Well, that's a great question too. So I think they pull from different parts of me. So when you are directing, and again, I'm new to this, right? I was honored by Paul Allen. He gave me my first director role in No Paradise, the short film, which is amazing. It stars him and my daughter Hadley. And that I took because I also coach. So I've coached my son's soccer team. So being able to kind of take teaching and coaching and provide direction, but also having that nurturing side of me, and that creative side, I can see how I want things to do, and I have the ability to communicate with the actors that are on camera of how to deliver that, or let's try it again, or give them an example and keep that positive vibe going. I think that is really helpful. Um, there are some days where I go on set if I'm directing, and that's more stressful because you're in charge of everything going on, and people are looking to you, and you don't have a chance to really relax. You got to be on. You got to be on the whole time. Um, with acting, you don't have the pressure to be in charge of everybody, but you've got the pressure of everybody's eyes on you and that camera that is on you and the self-doubt that you have in your head that says, oh, you're going to mess up. You're not going to do the best no matter how much you prepare. So that is a challenge on the actor side of it where you've got to push all of that away to really perform your best. So that is a challenge. On the writing side of things, I haven't written anything completely on my own, but I've co-written with people and done like more of the kind of editing side of things. And that is so much fun because you get to help another person bring their characters to life and bring your life experience to make conversations more natural. But that is also has a stressful piece with it too, because people are looking to that writing. And if the writing, I mean, you've seen shows, you've seen movies where you're like, oh my gosh, that writing. So, there's that judgment on the backside with the writing piece of it. So each one of them has its own unique challenge. So I can't really say if one is more difficult than the other, just a different challenge.
Yeah. So like to kind of piggyback off of that a little bit. So everyone's they're their own worst critic, you know.
Right.
So for you personally, outside of your films, have you seen something to where it was just like, no, I can't even finish watching this because I don't, like outside of your own films.
Outside my own films. Well, I am lucky enough to also do a silver screen review on Instagram with silver screen reviews for movies. And there have been some movies that I have been asked to review that I only watched because I had to. I know, okay, I know I'm in a lot of horror stuff, but I'm not like a huge, huge horror person. I had to watch Terrifier 3, and that was a lot. That was a lot for me. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just let him talk about my co-star there. Have him talk about the third act because 1 and 2 is good enough for this girl. Um, and then everybody has their own opinion on like Hallmark movies or, kind of like cheesy, easy reads, but I enjoy those. I like to do I call those my laundry movies. I will just like sit and watch and fold my laundry to those kind of movies. Um, Sometimes books that I have read, and then watch the movie after is like, oh, that's a bad idea because the book was way better. My imagination was way better than what was put on screen. So,
I'm the same way. Like I don't read a lot of books, but I've read everything that Stephen King has ever written.
Yeah,
And then I watch the movies, and I'm like, there's certain movies that hit better than the books, but there's a lot of books that definitely better than the movies.
right, right.
So, so if there was one actor or actress out there or director that you could work with, who would that be?
Well, growing up, my favorite actor has always been Leonardo DiCaprio. And I love all of his movies. I think he's a very talented actor. As we've gotten older, I've heard not wonderful things about him as an actual person. So that kind of changes things, but I would love to work on set with him. I'd love to work with actresses like Anne Hathaway or Meryl Streep. I mean, there's obviously like big Denzel Washington. He's one of my favorite actors as well. He's so versatile. Um, Anthony Hopkins is like one of my big time favorites. He probably is one of the reasons he reminds me of my grandfather, um, who has since passed away. So I think that's another connection I have with him. But um, again, like I said, I'm not someone who has always been like starstruck by other people. I think just the opportunity to work on a big set and check out how they do things, would be really neat. But I am most definitely, I'm like telling on myself here, I'm like the girl who someone's like, oh, we're getting this name actor, that's going to be in our film. And I'm like, hold on, let me see. Who is that? I always know their face. I always know their face, but I might not know their name. So, um, but yeah, I mean, I'd be honored to be in the presence of someone that has been doing it for a long time and been successful.
I don't know if you know, but Leonardo DiCaprio actually got his start in a horror movie,
Oh, which one?
Critters 3.
Now I will say I have not seen that one. Now I'm gonna have to go watch it.
It it's constituted as horror, but to me, I laughed almost through the entire thing. So
Okay, like Gremlins horror.
yeah,
Okay.
but now those are some solid names. I mean, because a lot of people, like I've heard Anthony Hopkins, I've heard Leonardo DiCaprio. Not too many times I've heard Meryl Streep.
hmm
And I'm like, you or her in like like the show Damages,
hmm
that would be perfect for you guys.
Yeah.
uh, what advice would you give to yourself at 10 years old?
At 10 years old.
Yeah.
Cool. I would say to push away the haters and not let anyone steal your light. That other people's opinions are none of your business, and to keep moving forward and chasing what's true to you. And that if you stay true to yourself and are kind to others, then what is for you will be there for you. And what is not will slide to the side. I've learned throughout my life, even when there's been times that have been really hard, and I thought, oh man, I thought I had that, or I thought this was going a certain way and it didn't. If you just stick with it long enough, you see why. You see why it didn't work. Because if this had worked, then this wouldn't have opened up. And so, one of the mantras that I live by now is when anything happens, it's not, why did this happen to me? It's, why did it happen for me? And what can I learn from it? And when you shift that mindset and you have that perspective, it changes everything.
All
It
right.
allows you to have joy even amidst the times that you have chaos and pain, because we all do. We all have chaos and pain, probably pretty consistently. Um, I know that's most definitely in my life right now. And you can choose to be pulled down by that, or you can choose to continue to find your joy. And it's amazing what you can find when you're looking for it.
All right. Uh, we're kind of nearing the end of the time here, but I always say, is there anything you can say to like a co-star or cast or anything? I'm going to change it up for this time.
Okay.
If there's something you haven't said, or even if you have said it to your husband and your kids, what would it be?
Well, I definitely have told them. So, but most definitely thank you for believing in me and giving me the space to try new things and being my biggest fans and my biggest supporters, and also for joining me on this ride. I mean, even my husband, in one of the things that I did, we got on set and I was doing a Alice in Wonderland spinoff, and I was got to be Alice's older sister, and then in Wonderland I was the evil queen of straits, and they needed a somebody to dress up in a lizard suit to be like my henchman, and the person that was supposed to be there wasn't, and he without hesitation dressed up in that suit and let me bop him on his head accidentally a little bit too hard. So he's always been a good sport. So I couldn't say thank you enough.
All right. So I'm gonna give the floor to you so you can plug your socials or where people can see your films and stuff like that. Or if you want people reaching out to you or not, that's up to you.
Yeah, yeah. So on Facebook, it's just Caitlin Skinner. On Instagram, it's at the Skinny, Skinne without the R. And I have an IMDb that you can check me out on there. It's got all my list of films I've been in. You can check us out at Paul Allen Films and Heidi Mickhack Films and Acro Stars. Dalton Richardson has been a wonderful, wonderful director I've worked with. There's so many. I'm just absolutely floored that this is my life. So check me out. You can reach out to me. I love when people reach out and ask like how I got started and can connect people. I love being a liaison like that. So thank you so much for having me on your show. This is like, I think, one of my very first interviews that I've done like this, and I've just been honored and tickled pink. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for accepting the invite. Uh, I always tell everybody once you've been on NC-17, you have a home here with us. You're welcome back anytime, even if it's to say I got a booger in my nose, but I've cleaned it out every day because someone tried to get me one time. But but so when Perfect Soul comes out, and I'll talk to Chloe too. Maybe you and her could come on at the same time.
Yeah, I would love that. We
Yeah.
have some intense scenes together. It was wonderful. I was so nervous about that. I haven't been that nervous about anything for a long time. And my husband had to be like, quit. You got it. Just go and do it. And Chloe's like, we got this. We got such good chemistry together. And she was right. And he was right too. So I would
All
love to
right.
do that.
Oh, Miss Skinner, Caitlin, you've been a complete superstar on the show. I thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you so much, Josh, and I look forward to seeing all your other interviews with these amazing actors and actresses you have coming up.
There's a lot.
There are a lot. Keep it going. You're doing great work.
I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. You have been a rock star, and you are more than welcome on the show anytime.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. Stay in C17.